You are along for the ride with the Mad Dog and Cole. I'm a George Lucas podcast. Farrell.
Hey, road rash is just high-speed tattoos.
Sing it.
I decided to fly through the air and live in the sunlight and enjoy life as much as I could, and that's just what I'm doing.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm. Wait.
Man, thank you so much for those inspiring words, Mr. Evil Knievel. Living in the sunlight, flying through the air. We don't got to fly through the air, but we should all take some minutes to live in the sunlight, enjoy what we do, take a minute, maybe even smell the flowers. Be thankful, be grateful.
Absolutely. And we got to thank our first responders, as well as the brave men and women in the armed forces fighting here on our home turf, keeping it safe, fighting overseas, keeping our freedoms free. Couldn't do this podcast without them.
100%. Props and respect to all our service people, all our POWs, all of our veterans, and of course, all of our first responders. Man, we also couldn't get through this podcast without our good friends over at Kicker Performance Audio. For all your 12-volt audio needs or personal audio needs, find them online, kicker.com, on Instagram at Kicker Audio, on Tuesday nights at 7:30 on YouTube live for Kicker Unmasked Live. Check them out, kicker.com. Of course, Bomber Floating Eyewear, man. I don't know where I'd be without Tommy and the Bomber Eyewear group. Man, just keep my eyes protected. I've been doing a bunch of work on the house. I've been wearing my bomber safety glasses, my Tiger bombs in the smoke lens because, it's Havasu. It's bright out. So just so grateful for them and their support. Find them online, bombereyewear.com, on Instagram at Bomber Eyewear. Of course, Kelsey Morrell Film, getting all the film production stuff done to get us on YouTube and kicking ass and taking names. Find her on Instagram at Kelsey Morrell Film. Where would I be without the Premix podcast? My dude Cole, sharing his passion for all things desert racing through the lens of a camera, and also open to book for your off-road or really any MC or announcer needs. Hit them up on Instagram at the Premix Podcast. That's at ThePremixPodcast. No.com. That's Instagram at the Premix Podcast. Man, I am so excited.
Oh, yeah? And why is that?
Because I have been trying to get this next guest on for quite a while.
Hey, worth the wait.
Yes, for sure.
And who is it gonna be?
We'll find out.
Coming up.
Well, here she is. We've been trying for what seems like forever. Ladies and gentlemen, fans and people who are just listening that aren't fans, we don't care. Welcome, Mia Chapman.
Hi, thanks for having me on. It's been a while coming.
It has been. We have a list, and I think you were like from when we first started, I think you were like quite a ways up there in the list, and it's just like, oh yeah, every time it's something, I'm gone, you're gone. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
pretty busy,
So
busy lives.
yeah, for sure. And I think so last time I saw you was at the Jersey Beach Scramble.
Yep. Hmm.
Have you raced since then?
Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks after that we had the Red Bull High Desert Scramble in Utah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right. I didn't work that one. How'd that go? Looked dusty.
It was really dusty. Yeah, it was right after the Jersey race, which luckily the car was held together pretty good. So all we had to do was just, kind of go over everything and make sure it was all good to go. And pretty much went straight out to that 2 weeks later. But it was super fun. We had like a different track layout than we did from the previous year, which was super cool to see. We got some new obstacles to go through. It was definitely more technical than last year's, which made it a really good race because you mix that with the dust and it becomes pretty challenging pretty quick. But yeah, I think we ended up like, I think sixth or something like that.
Nice.
Yeah, not too bad.
Good. I saw a bunch of your video clips and I was like, holy smokes, it was dusty.
Yeah, it was even more dusty than it was last year, which I don't think any of us were really anticipating. But it made for good racing, like um pretty fun all around.
Yeah. Now you have, for those of you who don't know Mia's history like I do, I forget about this part. Um, you started out what mini bikes or trophy carts? I know trophy carts for sure.
Yeah, I started out in trophy carts.
So and I think um, thanks to Bobby Van Beekum, he told me one day when I was working for Muzzies, he was like, it must have been like what 2012 or was it
Yeah,
13?
around there. I know it's pretty young.
Yeah, he was like, you should look at these guys. I'm like, look at this girl, and they're really good family, really good people, good friends of mine. She's got a lot of talent, and I'm like, well, we don't really do anything for trophy carts. And he's like, well, yeah, but I think we built a muffler based off of like the 450 dirt bike muffler for your trophy cart. And that's, I think, where we started.
Yeah, yeah, it was wow. That was a while ago. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but yeah, no, it was awesome.
I know it doesn't feel like that long ago to me at all. It's like, but it's really been awesome. Now take us through, okay, trophy carts, but get us, I get sidetracked. Get us back to where did the motorsport start for you? Like what was the catalyst that brought on, because most eight, 9-year-old girls don't go, I want to race a trophy cart with no suspension on a course that's really rough, um, let alone do really well at it. But yeah, what was the catalyst? What got it all started?
So my dad, he started racing before him and my mom ever had me. And it was kind of just a for fun thing to do. He lived in a small town where there's not much around to do. So he started out just riding dirt bikes, racing them. And then him and my mom met, and he had me. And while my mom was pregnant with me, he got into the bad crash. So after that, she was like, we're having a baby. You got to dial it down a little bit. And then I came pretty shortly after that, and he wanted me to race dirt bikes and kind of get into that lifestyle. Mom was immediately like, nope, no dirt bikes, nothing like that, because, they're pretty dangerous and whatnot. So when I was 6, we went to a local car show around here, and there was a trophy cart there. And my dad was like, okay, has a full roll cage, like pretty safe. And I like kind of showed an interest in it. I mean, I was pretty young, so I don't remember a whole lot, but the next Christmas it showed up at the house. And my dad wanted to see if it was something, I'd be interested in doing. So he went to the dunes quite a bit and just put me in it to drive around, see if I even liked it. And yeah, I ended up loving it. So he put me in my first race, and I think it was like 9 laps or something. It was pretty short. I only finished like I think it was 5 or 6 of those laps. Like it was pretty slow, but I loved it. I fell in love with it. So we kept up with it and doing it for fun just as a family. And I forget, I think I was 7 when I got my first championship with it. And that's when I really realized I was like, okay, I absolutely love this. Like I have a big passion for it. So we took it more seriously and kind of buckled down with it. And it's kind of how I ended up where I am today. I started with Trophy Karts, did that till I was about 15, 16, and then also dabbled in UTVs when I was around 12. And then after I aged out of Trophy Karts, I went straight into UTVs full time and stepped away from short course for a little bit. I think it was 3 years ago now, and dabbled into some desert stuff and did that for a couple years. Still kind of do it. I still really like it. It's such like a different form of racing than short course. So it was a completely different challenge to me when I first started, which made it fun, of course. But yeah, that's kind of how I got to where I am now.
Yeah, I remember you were probably had to be right after Trophy Carts, I think. I remember a pink Razor.
Hmm.
And was that a 800 or was that not till 14 and that was the 1000?
That was the no, that was my 1000 non-turbo car. That's what I started out with.
Yep. Yeah, she just so Trophy Cart straight into XP 1000 um NA car. Yeah. And you did good. I mean, when you consider that was still Lucas Oil, right?
Yep. Hmm.
Yeah. And you were racing a lot of really familiar, really big names in that naturally. Of course, there was no turbo cars, there was basically SR1s and side by sides. So you're in the NA class, you're racing a lot of big names when you quote unquote cut your teeth in side by sides. And then, what was it like the following year or something that Red Bull signed you, approached you guys?
That was three years later. Started in that when I was 12, and then got signed with Red Bull when I was 15. So yeah, around 3 years later.
Yeah, and so at 15, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were the youngest female Red Bull off-road athlete that they had ever signed. Is that correct?
In the United States,
In
yes.
in the US. Okay. All right. So there you go, in the US.
Mhm.
But still, um, kind of huge.
Oh, it was pretty surreal. I remember when because they announced it at Crandon, and I always grew up like watching like the Pro Trucks race and Lucas, like the Pro Twos, the Pro Fours. Followed those drivers a lot, and always followed like really like Bryce Menzies. The talent there was crazy, out of this world, and yeah, he's one of my favorite drivers. So they had him drive me out onto the Crandon track in one of his UTVs that was Red Bull wrapped. And I just thought we were going for like just a cruise around the track. That's kind of how he put it. And we stopped like on like the front stretch and got out, was talking for a minute, and then I see like the camera crew start to roll up, and then my dad starts to roll up, and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And he pulled out my helmet and yeah, announced it to me. So that was a really cool way they did it, giving having someone I looked up to a lot give me my first helmet. So it was really cool.
That's really cool. And yeah, you're right. Bryce is no slouch behind the wheel for sure. And um, that rev was that the naturally aspirated his naturally aspirated XP 1000.
I think so,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was an awesome build. That had Muzzy exhaust on it too.
Yeah, it was a super cool car, yeah.
Yeah, I ran into Bryce last fall. Um, we had made a trip up to Topak, up the river to Topak, and I was sitting there with, well, you probably know Casey Cadero, um, and him and some friends of theirs from Canada, him and his family, and Casey and Jess, and the baby, and some friends from Canada. And here comes Bryce walking up. It was the weekend of the uh, DCB regatta, And
Okay.
I think someone else was driving his boat, but he came walking up with the baby and his wife, and he's like, "Dude, it's been forever." And I'm like, I would, I'm not the guy that's going to go, "Hey, hey, hey, Bryce," but he saw me. He's like, and that's the kind of guy he is, just a rad dude. And it's really cool that they were able to organize it with him, um, to present you with your helmet, and especially, with how much of a fan you are of his. And I'm sure now, Matt, even then, massive respect for his abilities behind the wheel.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, that whole backstory is kind of crazy to like before me getting signed, the process of them doing things behind the scenes, because I was still a minor.
Right.
So I wouldn't, be signing contracts and whatnot. And I had like I've been training with am I spacing on his name? He's huge. Ricky Johnson.
Hmm.
That was when I was racing mod carts, and he was helping me with driver training. And we were out in California a few times training with him. And at the time, I guess Red Bull was kind of looking for a female off-road driver. And so I don't really know how it worked because I wasn't there for those conversations, but kind of put my name in and talked to them about me. And then I had my first meeting with some of the Red Bull people, and I thought it went really well. Like I was super excited. And then like 6 months go by and I don't hear anything about it. I'm like, dang, okay, well, that's still pretty cool. Like that it even got that far. And then that was around the time when Crandon came 6 months later. And I guess my dad and my mom had been like behind the scenes, signing the contracts, talking about what it entails and all of that. So yeah, pretty crazy.
That's pretty rad. And now I remember, you did really well in short course, side by side stuff. Um, and then the desert stuff. Um, how did that go? I mean, I remember some of it, but I didn't actually. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't go like creep your stats in desert racing, unless Cole did. That's Cole's job. It's not my job. So, stat
Desert's
man.
to keep up with. Yeah, but my first year when I started, it was pretty tough. Like I went into it really optimistic and wanting to give it my all, which I did, but I just didn't realize how challenging it would really be. Being out in the desert for hours and miles on end. Um, but it was awesome. I mean, I absolutely loved it. It was a totally different new challenge, which made it even more fun because then you have something to chase for now. Um, so yeah, my first year was decent. I think I accomplished a few top tens, and second year had a little bit more experience going into it. So it went a lot better for sure. I know the most heartbreaking race of that was Vegas to Reno. Like that was my first time attempting Vegas to Reno, and I think it was 20 miles from the finish. We broke a transmission.
Yeah, I remember that.
So that was pretty heartbreaking, but yeah, it's been a blast. I mean, it's still such a challenging thing to do mentally and physically overall. But yeah, desert's fun. It's fun to dabble in that as well as doing some like the Red Bull races because they're kind of similar to short course style stuff. So I got a good mix of both.
Yeah, and the now the desert stuff, I know didn't Super Joe right seat for you at least a few times.
No, not yet. I don't think so.
Oh, I thought he did. I thought I saw him in the right seat. I know your little brother did. I know Ryder did.
He's been in it when we practiced and like I think shock tune and stuff like that, but my dad would prefer to be outside on like the pit crew side because when we come in and stop, he wants to make sure nothing's wrong and kind of have control over that. But I keep telling him he needs to get in the seat for one of these races, whether it's co-driving or driving. So
Yeah, for sure. Joe, shout out to Super Joe Chapman, by the way. Just awesome dude. It's always great to see him. Love him to death. Love your mom, your little brother. You got a great family. And man, Joe has always been a help to me. Uh, no matter what. and I know he's been a big driving force behind you too, and helping keep you motivated at times, and uh, I think it helps keep him motivated too, you know. So that's really rad. But yeah, Joe, you got to get in that right seat. I mean, she's she's not 12 anymore, Joe. She's got this.
I know we were talking about like the smaller races, like maybe the Parker 250 or one of the Red Bull like races like Utah or something that's close. I was like, you either got to race in one or co-drive because he has yet to do any of that with like my stuff. And he does, everything for me. So I think it'd be really cool.
Yeah, and you know what? Vice versa. You should start driving the semi for him once in a while.
Got to get my CDL for that. I almost did on our way back from, I think it was Jersey. He asked me if I wanted to get in the seat, and I was like, of course. It's when I, take my contacts out. I don't have my glasses on me. Um,
Yeah, so all right, so you went through trophy carts, side by sides, desert racing, short course. Um, and I know this one is always just sticks in my mind. And I didn't remember that you got your helmet at Crandon. Um, by the way, folks, for those of you, if you're listening to this prior to watching it, because our video feed on YouTube podcasts at Mad Dog Space Media is probably about 6 months behind. So if you're listening to it, Mia is also a kicker athlete and has been since she was in Trophy Karts, which let's touch on that now. Cole, remind me where I was going in a minute. Um, but Mod Kids, is that where you got involved with kicker at that point, or was it
yeah.
before that?
It was Mod Kids, yeah, that first year they initially decided to do a show like that. They brought in a bunch of partners, and Kicker happened to be one of them. So they made that introduction with us to Kicker, and we had them, I think, throughout the next 3 years of that show until I aged out of Trophy Carts. And after that, I wanted to maintain that relationship with Kicker because I love the people that were involved. I love the brand that came with it. Like it seemed to fit really well with both of us. So yeah, Roger, one of the main guys at Kicker, has been a great person to work with all the years. And yeah, I've been working with them since I was 13, I believe.
Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, they are great. And shout out to Kevin Campbell and Roger, um, making that call on Mud Kids way back then, 10 years ago, I guess.
Has it been that long?
Yeah,
Crazy. That feels like it was yesterday too.
I know. So, but yeah, no, super cool. And shout out to them for making the call to get involved. And then Roger for spotting the talent in you and staying true, and I know you've had ups and downs and bumps in your racing career, and but you're still doing it. And I know a lot of racers um, that started at your age and uh, don't do it anymore, and it's too bad. It really is. And for whatever reason, I mean, obviously not everybody's going to get a Red Bull sponsorship, but it's for you, it's not even about that. I mean, that's the party bonus with the whole package, but for you, it's about the passion, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's what keeps driving me to do what I do. That's why I've been doing it all these years. And it's not something that ever gets old. I mean, even on the bad days. I mean, initially, it's hard in the moment, but after the fact, you're ready to get right back into it. Yeah, but we're one of the lower budget race teams, I would say. And motorsports just keeps evolving, it seems like every single day. So competing, it's definitely tricky, which, it's nice to have competition out there. Um, But yeah, still doing it, still trying to do my best. This year we decided to switch it up from just doing, one series of racing. So now we're doing, like I said earlier, the Red Bull Scramble stuff alongside with the desert races. That's one we got coming up here in August, Vegas to Reno. So
Oh, you
yeah.
guys are doing Vegas to Reno.
Yeah, initially we heard that it might not happen. So we were kind of planning other races to substitute for that, but yeah, they announced it's happening, so we're doing Vegas to Reno.
Nice, nice. Are you racing? What car are you racing?
We're gonna race my desert car. Yeah, it's been sitting for a little bit, so we're in the process of, doing some upgrades, trying to make it a little quicker, upgrading all the parts, everything we need to try to go out there and win it.
Nice, nice. And what is your desert car for those who don't know?
It's a Polaris 1000 non-turbo.
Yeah, naturally aspirated. So you'll be running in the 1000 NA class.
Yeah, I believe so. There's quite a few classes that NA cars can run in. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
take a look into that and kind of see, what we want to do. So
you
yeah,
could.
stay tuned for that.
Awesome. It sounds like there's an announcement coming. Um, Also, you could always just run up the road to Van Beekam's and steal one of his run in the unlimited, steal one of his well engineered naturally aspirated motors.
Yeah, that he has a lot of cars.
Yeah. I what like 17 or something.
Yeah, I don't even know at this point.
I think
Super
Meredith.
talented driver though. When he doesn't have parts failure, or is car breaking, that dude can go out there and damn near close to win every race. So he's a
Yeah,
cool dude for
he's a wild man behind the wheel. And you know, speaking of behind the wheel, and of course we're on along for the ride, there is going back to Crandon where
Mhm.
you got your helmet. So you got an opportunity, and I know you and I have talked about this, but you got an opportunity to run. Was it a Pro 2 at Crandon?
I raced a pro light there, I think
Pro
2 years
Light.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and you did really well. Didn't you finish like fourth?
Yeah, that was pretty surprising. I mean, yeah, so from the beginning, we decided some of the partners came together to give me the opportunity to race a pro light at Crandon. I think it was like 2 months or a few months before it, like kind of last minute. But we put it all together and flew out to Wisconsin like a month before it. And I got fitted and all that. And I got one practice day in it. And I think I got like, I don't know, maybe 50 laps of that. I try to put in a lot, but yeah, from there, we flew back home, got ready for the race, flew back out there for Crandon, the actual race. And I got practice in, and it went pretty well. Like I was getting more and more comfortable in the truck every time I was in it. And they gave me a pretty great truck to work with, so that definitely helped a lot. And the first race day, I think I was running up there in the top 10 pretty well. And then I made a rookie mistake and spun out, and that put me back a little bit. Um, and then, yeah, it went pretty well considering just besides the spin out that first day. I mean, it wasn't like we were hanging out in the back, just not getting it. But the second day went much better. I ended up finishing fourth, which was insane to me because I never expected that I would be up there that much with, how competitive the field is. But that was an absolute blast. I had so much fun racing that truck.
Yeah, there was a lot of competitors in that class. I remember watching some of the video stuff, and it looked like there was a lot of competitors in that class, and some very experienced pro light pro 2 guys were in that class. And Mia just showed him what's up.
Yeah, I think I impressed myself. It was kind of similar to driving a mod car, just definitely just a more scaled up version and faster version. And that was my first time running on the big track, so that was something I always wanted to do, so that made it, even better. But yeah, there's a lot of heavy hitters in that class.
Yeah, do you have any plans to try and put a program together to run it again?
If someone wanted to put me in their truck to run it, I would absolutely would, but it's definitely one of those programs that are very high up there money wise
Yeah.
to do. But yeah, I would absolutely love to get back on one for sure. Even like a bigger pro truck. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be really rad. And so now, um, I actually get to see you probably more and see you race more than I have, at least in the last 2 years. Now that I'm doing helping out a lot with the Scramble Red Bull Scramble series.
Mhm.
And stay tuned, folks. I hear there's a possibility that that series may even grow further next year. Unconfirmed rumor. I'm spreading rumors, but definitely pay attention on where do they find the broadcasts?
Just Red Bull Scramble series. And then on Red Bull TV they can watch all of the races that go on as well. So
Yep, and I have watched them on Red Bull TV. I actually, believe it or not, as tech challenged as I am, I have a smart TV with Red Bull TV on it. So, um, and to be in with a company like Red Bull, um, it's super rad. I know Jersey was really cool to see all my I call you guys my kids, so all my kids giving media rides out there. um, and Cole will attest to this. I had some pretty proud moments, did I not, Cole?
Yes, you did. Absolutely.
we we covered the beach scramble on an earlier podcast. I don't remember what number, Cole. Statman.
Like 37, probably 36
Nice. Well
ish.
done.
In the
I,
30s.
I was just checking to make sure he wasn't asleep, but I
oh
actually
no.
talked about you on there. Um, and Seth and Mitchie and AJ, when we were all at the hotel. Um, that is the first time I've actually met that I can remember or spent any time talking to AJ. So that was kind of cool. And I'm lining those three up for the next one, I think. So um, you get to beat them to the punch. Uh,
Yeah.
but nah, it was really cool to see you guys out there and running press people around. And did you took a few laps in the behemoth four seater too, didn't you?
Yeah, I did a few laps around there, just giving people rides, which that's always one of my favorite parts about the weekends is hanging out with, some of the people that make this happen and don't really get to experience or like drive on the tracks that get put on. So that was always a fun time and getting to see it, what the track actually looks like. Because when you go to race on a beach, that's hasn't been done in so many years. It's kind of you don't know what to expect. But I think they put together such a really cool and rad course for us to race on.
Yeah, I thought the course was, and I thought it stood up pretty well, and shout out to our man, the general, Mr. Butts. Um, he literally worked his butt off on that course because if you go look up the earlier podcast, folks. We'll cover it all, but basically they lost 2.5 days of build time to rain, and you know what water does to sand. So trying to build a course from there, but I thought it was a great course and it was super cool. I was like, I didn't have time to check social media during the day. So like every night after I got back to the hotel after dinner, which for the build crew, For us, it was usually pretty late. I was checking out everybody's social media, and you had I can't remember. There was a group there. I think there was a couple of girls in the big Red Bull KMC Can-Am X3 that you had with you. Was one of them Tiffany Stone?
Yeah, it was myself, Tiffany Stone, Pleasant Cook, and then I can't remember the other one's names, but we all had a good time, especially with being all girls. Like it made for some good content.
Yeah, she rallied them around the course, and like it wasn't. I don't really feel like you went like soft on it either.
I try to find a nice middle ground, depending on who's in the car. Like if it was just them two, the people that, race cars and whatnot, it doesn't matter. But when there's like, new people in there, I don't want to scare them too much. So we found a nice middle ground and she had a lot of fun. She loved it.
He, notice Cole. What did she say? You don't want to
Scare them off, scare them away.
scare them too much.
Oh yeah, you got to give them a little flavor.
You want to scare them a little
Got to
bit.
show what the car will do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
that's rad. That was so cool. Yeah, and that was a lot of fun. I was bummed I missed High Desert. Um, but then let me see, was that right? I can't remember when Beach Scramble was now, but I was really blessed anyways because Mia came out for Desert Storm.
hmm
And so here in Havasu, which is a Kicker Marine audio title sponsored event, um, and man, she was out here last year and we had a good time. But this year, I think it was like Mia knew what to expect from all of us animals. So it was like, I felt like you were a lot more relaxed and had a lot better time this year than last year.
Yeah, I think going into last year, I didn't know what to expect because I hadn't been to many boating events at all. So it was fun getting to dabble in a little bit. And actually this year I got to go on the kicker boom tune and go out for the poker run that they have out there and be, really involved in that. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think in our Desert Storm recap, I talked about that and people like, how many people like find out later that they were getting their poker chips from like a Red Bull off-road athlete, you know? And like, hey, I've seen that girl before. She handed me my poker chips. Now she's on Red Bull
Yeah.
TV.
I was out there. I was learning all the ropes for the poker run, all the ropes of the event.
Yeah, it was cool. Hopefully again 2024 for sure.
Oh
So
yeah, absolutely.
yeah, that was so much fun. I always look forward to it. And of course Mia and the Keekster hit it off and they were off on their own social media planets at times. So which was really cool actually. So because when dad has to work and mom has to tend bar, um, Keekster's got to do something. Well, it's kept her out of trouble hanging out with someone as good as Mia because Keekster's my daughter, so she could find trouble if there was trouble. I guarantee it.
Oh, I don't know. She's awesome. It was super cool. I know she was there the year before. I don't know why we didn't really hang out that much, but this year, yeah, we definitely, connected. I found a new best friend, so yeah, it was
That,
awesome.
that was really cool. So now going back to racing, I know I jump all over the place, but that's all part of along for the ride because my mind works dangerously. Um,
Mine
what
too.
what are the chances? Are we going to see on two wheels anytime soon?
Not anytime soon. I don't think so. I'm not the most talented on two wheels. I can ride 110s. Not too bad at that. But yeah, this year it's been a wild ride for sure. It's the first year we really branched out from doing just one series and started doing the Red Bull Scramble stuff full time. And then doing, some desert races here and there, but it's helped my career, I think, a lot than I even realized. With the scramble stuff, we go to so many different places with different terrain, and you have to be able to adapt to it really quickly. If you want to do well and be up there. So that has been a blast. I mean, going to places I've never been to, let alone raced at. So I've been having a really good time with that, and we finally have our first desert race of the year coming up here in August. So that's also fun to start prepping for as well. The next one up on the schedule will be the Alaska Solstice Scramble. So very excited about that.
You beat me to that one. I was going to ask if you were going to Alaska June next week, right? June 21st.
Yeah, next weekend. That's
Mid
the plan as of now.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
okay. So if there's a gap, it's not Cole's fault. I got distracted, Cole got distracted, and Mia is having a laughing attack. Um, so tune into episode 47 for all that. But we're jumping back to Solstice in Alaska. Unfortunately, I didn't get the call, so I won't see you up there. But I know you're super excited about that. And so what's the logistics? Are you getting is your dad getting your car up there? Are you using a borrowed car? What's the logistics of getting to Alaska to race?
So the logistics is very, very challenging. At first, a few weeks ago when Vegas Torino got announced that it was officially on, that was definitely, it's such a heavy, high hitter race to go to is really valuable. So we made the decision to do that instead of the Alaska one. And I reached out to, my Red Bull manager, and I was like, I think we're gonna skip out on this one and, get prepped and ready for Vegas Torino coming up. And so they, wanted all of us up there, and we all want to be there. So we kind of figured out a way to get us up there. My dad didn't really want to drive just because it's so long and it's so much time off of work and all of that, but we were definitely going to, if we needed to. But now we're looking into having the car shipped up there, which initially I knew nothing about shipping cars anywhere because, that's not something we ever done before. But luckily, Red Bull had some contacts with some people that did that. So right now I'm in contact with them to get the cars up there, shipped, ready to race. So hopefully we can make that happen, but it's looking good. It's looking like we're gonna make it.
Awesome. That's I wondered about that because I used to live up there for a lot of
Mm-hmm.
years, and I know the logistics of hauling up and down the Alaska Highway and what it takes to go from here to there. So it's like that was a huge question of mine is how you going to get your shit there basically. So
That was my biggest question too, because this is definitely the farthest race we've ever done. So I was like, okay, how the heck do we make this happen? And at first we were gonna rent a car up there from somebody. He had an extra one, and which is cool. I was like, perfect. We, fly up there, do a few things and changes that we need to the car, without, hauling ours up there. But then he ended up wrecking it or something, it's broken. So that was out of the question. So then I was like, okay, let's see what we can do now. But yeah, working on getting the car shipped up there now.
oh, super cool. Super cool. That's yeah, I've seen a lot of racing under the midnight sun, so to speak. Um, but never a side by side race. So I was hoping that I know they're running a pretty tight crew on this one, pretty small crew. So um I would expect with the way the Scramble series is growing and how big a hit, the S&K guys hit with every race. I would expect that next year will be much larger. Probably expect, wouldn't surprise me to see a venue change in Alaska. And man, holy cow, I'm so excited for you guys to be up there. I'll be watching all your social media, and you know, and I think it's super rad that Red Bull wants to keep you guys together for as many of these as they can. Um, Purely selfish on my part because, like I love you, I love Mitchie, I love Seth, and I can't say I love AJ, but I love AJ. I don't know him well enough, yet, but
Yeah.
it just, I can't tell you how proud I am of you and those boys. They do all right too. But when I'm seeing you guys out there, and it's really cool because it's like, you know, all you kids were all like some of the very first people I ever sponsored. And really, and let's just call it what it is. I don't pull a lot of punches, so um, I stuck my neck out on the budget to get you guys, and every time I see one of you guys racing or even just on social media, I'm like, you know, I'm pretty happy with that choice. I'm pretty thankful. Pretty thankful Rob gave me the run that he did.
Mhm. Yeah, no, it's cool to see and how crazy it is, like how small the community is, and you grew up with all these people that you first started with. Maybe not all of them, but quite a few of them, and they grow with you throughout your career. So it's awesome for sure.
Yeah, and it's really rad that you guys have all ended up like at least you, Mitchie and Seth have all ended up in the Red Bull family.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy how that works, huh?
Yeah, it's like I mean Mitch Jr. Sorry.
Have to be proper now.
Yeah.
Prob-
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure I'm supposed to call him Mitchie anymore. I don't. He'll always be Mitchie to me, so
I'm sure he goes by it for you.
yeah. Yeah, no,
Um,
go ahead.
I don't know, I was gonna just say kind of what you said earlier. It's kind of hard to find us all in, the same area now that we're kind of doing the same but different types of races with,
Mhm.
our careers and stuff. So I think it's really cool how, the Red Bull Scramble races kind of bring us together in a way, and they're super fun races to do. So I know we all definitely enjoy going to them.
Yeah, and for our fans, like Mia said earlier, Red Bull TV, and look up the Scramble series and just watch them. Um, Man, there's some good racing on top of everything else. It's good entertainment, good racing, um, and you're gonna get hooked because they have the craziest places. Like when we talked about New Jersey, I'm like, dude, who would have ever expected that we would be allowed to build a race course on
Hmm.
the Jersey Shore?
Right? That was my reaction to. It's just like there's no way.
Yeah, and speaking of reaction, it was really cool to see everybody's reactions, your reactions, your dad reactions when you guys showed up because you rolled in earlier
Yeah.
than pretty much anybody, really.
Showed up a couple days earlier.
Yeah, which was cool though because I actually got some visit time with Super Joe, and I got some visit time with you, and you guys got to kind of see how the build out was going, how things were going. Probably saw my stress level rising and falling and rising and falling. But as we got closer and closer, you should have been around on race day. Um, but nonetheless, uh, I mean, we were literally on the beaches of New Jersey, and like some of my favorite people in the world were racing side by sides. And, I did take time to watch once in a while just because I like had to. It's like, often I get caught up in the job and it's like, wait a minute, this is like a historic moment, and these are my kids, like, there goes Mia, way to go, send it, and so, and it was also really cool in Jersey that your little brother was there,
Yep.
and RVB, not RVB big RVB, little RVB, the other rider.
He's not so little anymore. Those boys are growing up fast.
No, we were actually, I think I said something about that in the beach scramble edit cover, um, about Ryder, and I know I talked about you and the race and all that, and Big Bob, um, but I the first time I met Ryder Van Beekum, he Bobby was holding him in one arm, and he wasn't even old enough to wear shoes. He was still in diapers.
Aw. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
So, and now he's got me by probably 100 pounds and a foot taller. Um, I don't know how he crams into those race cars. At least you got that. You're tiny, so um, you just hop right through the window like it's nothing.
That is a nice thing. Yeah, I didn't think I stopped growing in high school, so a whole 5'5". But I can fit into pretty much any race car. All I need is like a few pillows sometimes, but yeah.
Yeah. So all right. So you got Solstice. What's after that? Vegas to Reno, and that is August. Cole,
17th to 20th, something like that.
does that sound right?
I think so. Yeah, I know the 17th sounds right for sure.
All right. Well, if you're in Nevada around then, you should be okay. But don't listen to me, obviously.
Hey, as it stands right now, if you guys need help, let me know because I'm showing open that
Yeah,
weekend.
absolutely.
So,
But yeah,
anyway,
in between, so before Vegas to Reno and after the Solstice Scramble, I'm doing a bit of a new race I've never done before. It's at the Dirtfish Rally School in Washington. Yeah, it's mostly like a rally car race, but they do have a UTV kind of class. So, we're gonna go out there and do that. I've been there a couple times now before, and it's such a crazy, rad, unique place. So excited for that one, a new experience to add to the books.
yeah, I know you're a veteran of Dirtfish, and neither one of us have ever even been there. So I'm gonna say we're a little jealous. I know I am. Um, but that should be really cool. And one of the Dirtfish guys, Nate Tennis, I think it is, has a
He's all,
Volvo. Yeah, he's one of the instructors, isn't he?
yep.
Yeah,
hmm
he has a Volvo rally car.
I keep up with him on social media, so I do see like kind of what he does. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm an old Turbo Bricks guy. Cole's an old Volvo guy. Um, Cole's also a major Class 11 guy. So that's,
Oh,
yeah. Now that's something you haven't done yet. Maybe you should race a Class 11.
that is that the bug class?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to double check. Yeah, my dad loves those, and I keep trying to get him to race one as well. So that's good to know because maybe we can put together a race team.
Yeah. Cole is all things Class 11.
I don't
He's
I don't know what I'm doing, but I like it a lot. So
That works. More people.
sounds perfect. Um, okay, so there's a race in at Dirtfish between Solstice next week and Vegas to Reno in August.
Yeah, it's in the middle of July. I can't remember the exact dates.
Very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. That's rad. And is it like a rally type race? Do you know if it's point to point? Is it time?
Um,
Um,
have a short course. Well, I say short course, but it's a bit of a longer course they build right on their property. Because they have about, I think it's 4 or 5 different tracks they have on their property there. So they're gonna use those and kind of combine them into something and make that like a racetrack to race on. So yeah, not quite sure what to expect, but I'm excited.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I would guess that you will see Mr. Jim Beaver. Oh, the
You will
Podfather.
see her. Yeah, I'm racing against him. We're taking his car up there. So,
You're racing against him?
yeah. So
That's
that'll be, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a good time. I hope he does a live segment or at least a recorded segment from with you guys up there. That'll be super rad.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get a lot of stuff. It's always quite entertaining whenever we're, together. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I've listened to your podcasts with him, all of them, and it's always a good time, always a good listen. So we we're probably about hitting the end of time, aren't we? Let Mia, what do you got? Anything else you want to cover?
I don't think so. I think that's pretty much all the updates on everything as of now.
Okay, rad. That is so cool. Mia, be sure tell us all about all your sponsors and partners.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Everything I do would definitely not be possible without the wonderful people that I work with. Red Bull definitely being one of them. Kicker Audio, Rigid Industries, Vision Wheel, Sparko, Rugged Radios, are definitely some of the people that help make all of this happen. So yeah, big thanks out to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can find Mia online on social media at where?
Mia Chapman with 3 A's in Mia. Type in Mia Chapman though, and I come up. So
There you go. There you
yeah.
go. That is cool. Mia, thank you so much for being on. We as a member of the Kicker family and you're still always will be one of my Muzzy kids. Um, Even though, the brand is since passed and we're all moving forward from there. Um, this, what can I say? Without that, this wouldn't happen right here, right now. So,
Absolutely. Yeah, no, thank you for having me on. I'm glad we finally made this happen.
yeah, for sure. And Super Joe, thank you. Get a class 11. Cole probably knows someone that has one you can rent for a race.
Yeah, I think
You
there's
know,
one outside right now, so we'll just dig it out.
Do you have
yeah,
one still?
I have a class 5 car. It's a little more suspension. It's not as authentic. We'll figure it out.
oh, you guys got to get him on here for an episode. He would be so entertaining.
That would be fun. That would be a lot of fun because, he drives all your race cars everywhere and Bobby's, I think, too, right? And someone else's.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this guy's my dad is more famous than I am. More people know me by Joe's daughter. Everybody loves Joe.
Yeah, he is definitely a lovable guy. He's a great dude. And your mom too. Um, I hadn't seen her in I don't even know how long before Jersey, and it was so great to see her. Um, I think I'd seen you and Ryder and maybe your dad at a couple of events before that, but I hadn't seen her, so it was really cool to see her. Um,
Yeah.
give your family my best for sure. Good luck next week at Solstice Scramble, Anchorage, Alaska. Um, and so the Solstice Scramble is during the annual summer solstice week long party, which also incorporates June 21st, which is a huge celebration in Alaska and northern Canada, because it's the longest day of the year. Um, and in some areas, you get up like just north of Fairbanks, the sun actually doesn't go down at all on June 21st. So, Anchorage, you'll probably get an hour. By then, you'll probably be getting an hour or two of sunset.
I know, I did hear about that. That's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, that's probably part of what attributes to my hyperactivity is, I grew up where we had daylight all day long every summer and darkness all winter long. So, oh man, ladies and gentlemen, fans and not fans, hopefully fans of Mia Chapman, rebel athlete, off-road racer, kicker athlete, and official badass. Mia, thank you so much for coming on. We greatly appreciate it. Um, you got a final word, final statement?
No, just thank you for having me on. I feel like we covered so many good things, very entertaining things. So, yeah, thank you guys.
Well, that's what Along for the Ride is about, road tripping, fun. I love to hear the the story behind someone's story, like how they got into racing or like, how they got into podcasting or whatever. Like that's the whole reason I started this wasn't to get any of my stories out. It's to get everybody else's stories out. Um, Maybe someday we'll get one of mine, but we even got Cole's story out in episode 3 and 5,
Ooh.
6,
3 and 4.
3. No, there's a gap in between, isn't there?
I don't think so.
I called it the
Doesn't
Cole
matter.
nine, the Cole 9 yards.
Well, you're next.
Oh no, I
Yeah.
don't need to be. I don't need that kind of. Don't you wish that hate on me, Ricky Bobby?
Oh, come on, we want to hear it.
That's awesome, Mia. I hope to see you guys soon. Once again, give your family big love from us, and thank you for making the time, especially since I was so scrambled up trying to get things sorted out for this week and getting you on. Thank you for being so accommodating and so much fun. I hope you had a good time. We will definitely have you back again soon, hopefully. So
Yes, sir. No, absolutely. Thank you guys.
you bet. Cole, final statement.
Have fun in Alaska.
Thank you.
That's rad. All right, we might as well while we got her on, let's just do our closing credits.
You want to run through them real quick?
Sure, because
All
she's
right.
kicker athlete, so she can throw it. She can do the kicker one.
All right, that'd be fun.
Man, such a rad episode. So much fun. Love Mia to death. Love her family to death. So great. Love Cole. Cole, thank you so much for always making things happen, being there when I call. And man, oh man, also thank you for sharing your passion for desert racing, all things desert racing, through the lens. Find them on Instagram at the Premix Podcast, all one word. The at symbol ThePremixPodcast. He also does MC work and off road event announcement. Hit him up, send him a message. Do not send him gnarly pictures. But he'll have some great pictures of your desert racing vehicles. Hit him up. Of course, Kelsey Morrell Film at Kelsey Morrell Film, getting all of our bloopers, blunders, and everything else out of the video and making us all look good on YouTube and now on YouTube podcasts. We're up to episode 7. This is episode 42, so she's got a little work to do, but she's been finishing up a couple of semesters of film school. Find her on Insta. Hit her up if you need commercial work done at the Premix Podcast. Of course, part of our family, Mia's and I's and Cole's, Kicker Performance Audio. Mia, take it.
I don't know what to say. This is your show. Well, thanks out to them for all that they do in making this rad life happen and letting us live and do such cool things.
Yeah, stay living loud with Kicker Performance Audio. Find them online at kicker.com or on Instagram at Kicker Audio, all one word. Of course, Bomber Floating Eyewear. Find them online, Bomber Eyewear. Tommy and the gang building the highest quality product. Man, there are so many choices, so many options. They float. They have different lens colors. The lenses I always wear are ANSI 87 OSHA approved safety lenses in a polarized dark smoke. Although I've been wearing those new favorites in the polarized blue mirror, pretty sick anti-glare polarized blue mirror. Check them out, bombereyewear.com. And of course, thank you so much, Mia Chapman, at Mia Chapman, at me Chapman on Instagram, and her partners. Go ahead, list them off for us.
Red Bull, Kicker Audio, Rigid Industries, Sparko, Rugged Radios. I think that's pretty much all of them. All the rad people that make this possible.
And Super Joe Chapman for hauling the mail. And I don't know how to pronounce your mom's name. I can't remember.
Roberta.
Roberta. See, I would have messed that up big time.
And
the what?
She goes by Berta as well, so if that makes it a little easier.
Okay.
Might make them more confused.
Yeah, now I'm just a mess again. Thank you. How about this? Thank you to the Chapman family. That includes you too, Ryder. Hopefully you guys will listen. Cole, what is your speech?
Oh, make sure to rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite streaming platform.
Isn't he smooth? That's so good.
It'd have been smoother without the but
I can't remember. I can't remember that many words in a row. With that, Mia, thank you so much. Episode
thank you.
42 is in the books. Cole, thank you. Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you.
And I think that's a wrap. Mad Dog out.